Welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name's Natalie, and we are going to have a look at what the Oracle cards have to tell us for the energies for the week ahead. It is the last week of Leo, or Leo season. And just before we get started, I wanted to remind you that I did release the August Oracle Wisdom on the last day of July. I have to keep thinking about where we're actually at in this year of 2026. So we are halfway through the month. So it's always a good time halfway through to go back and rewatch the reading of whichever pile or piles you picked and see if that is actually how your month is playing out. And sometimes when you go back, the energy that you're drawn to changes. So it might be a good time to go back and have a look. And of course, my daily readings get released at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time every single day, 7 days a week. So go and check those out. They're just quick little looks into the energy for the next 24 hours for you. So if one pops up in your feed and it was posted on a different day, that's fine. That's your energy for the next 24 hours. Okay, so we are going to get started with the Ascending Life Oracle, which is a MahrukhX deck. If you've been with me for a while, you have seen this deck before. Okay, so we've got two. I'm going to pull a few more, then we will. Okay, I've got four. I'm just going to pull, I think, two more. Okay, three more apparently. Okay, so we're starting with Snake, Time of Healing, Shed Old Skin, Secret Knowledge, Jealousy, and Envy. Birth, New Opportunities, Starting Over, Reinventing Yourself, Birth of a Child, Idea, or Project. Then we have Marriage, Attracting a long-term partner, Marriage Life, Attracted to a married person, New partner, may be divorced. Then we have Teamwork, Partnership, a partnership to complete a goal. Someone will come to your aid, expanding your network, delegating tasks. Karmic Justice, Wrongs made right, you will be vindicated, getting what you deserve, learning karmic lessons. Then we have Secrets, Moving in Silence, Hidden Factors, Lack of Communication, Not having all the facts. And then the final card from the Ascending Life Oracle is Round and Round, Not applying lessons learned, unhealthy patterns on repeat, unable to let go of the past, repeating an old story. So immediately, it's interesting to me because if you've been watching the dailies as they've been posted for the last week, there are themes as to the energies that are playing out at the moment. And I think that right now, astrologically, everybody is going through it. If you aren't on High Vibe, David and I on Thursday's show last Thursdays talking about the energies. Did I say on full disclosure? Oh my gosh. We were talking about how rough the energy is right now. And he has talked about this is the moment of rising through the darkness, and everything is so challenging at the moment. And the way I described the energy is I feel like I'm backed into a corner and there's somebody with a baseball bat that just keeps hitting me every time I sort of think, okay, I survived that blow, let's keep going. And then there's another hit that's lined up and ready to go. And I think that this is a moment of change in order for life to kind of balance out in a really different way and for our betterment. But there are always challenges. In order to allow the new things to come in, we have to sort of get rid of the old, and there has to be transformation. And this is the Snake card. What do snakes do? They shed their skin in order to expose that new skin and continue to grow. So I feel like that's a moment that's going on. As it says on this card, it's also a time of healing. And then secret knowledge, and there's jealousy and envy. And I think at the moment, and we can see this from the secrets card, the karmic justice card, there is energy around information. So it may be that there are secrets that have been kept, and there is that theme still playing out this week, which can be incredibly frustrating, especially when we know there is information that we are not yet getting. And to me, I realize on this card, it does say jealousy and envy. There may be some of that at play, but for me, the themes are healing, shedding of who we once were, and this energy around knowledge and whether we're getting all the knowledge that we need or that we should be getting. And this could just be a timing thing. It's not the right time for that information to come through. Then we have the birth card. And I always say that these cards, we can take them literally. Like there may be the birth or the conception of a new life, which is amazing. And if that's you, I am so thrilled for you and congratulations. But it also is about starting over. And this is about a time of healing and shedding your old self. So it could be the birth of this new version of yourself. It could be the birth of a new idea. So it is about beginnings, and you need to be open to that. And I realize that when we are being forced to let go of things that are in our lives, it can be incredibly challenging, and we can try really hard to hang on to what is comfortable, what we know, what we love, and afraid to kind of let all of that go. But this is a moment where I think we need to, and what we're going to see coming in is really quite special. Then we've got the marriage card. Again, it can be taken literally. And to me, it can be marriage in terms of actual marriage. It may be leveling up in your relationship in that it becomes more serious. You have that conversation where you both decide that, you're seeing each other exclusively. Maybe you're moving in together. And I think that all of that, these days can be seen the same as marriage. Back decades ago, I don't want to say in the olden days, but decades ago, people would date and they wouldn't live together until they were married, and all these different social norms were at play, and it's just different now. So this is why I don't necessarily see marriage as being literal marriage necessarily. And it could be attracting somebody new into your life. And if that's happening, great. If you're sitting there going, that's not what I'm into, just be open. Maybe somebody will come in and knock your socks off. It's such a cliche, but these things always happen when we're not expecting it. So the other thing is, there is attracted to a married person, or the new partner may be divorced. You know what? No judgment for anyone, whatever your path is. There are reasons and stories behind why everybody does what they do. Just if you're moving into that territory, what I would say is be really careful, protect yourself, protect everybody involved, and hopefully there is a reason or a lesson to be learned for everybody. I think that life plays out in a way where karmic lessons are constantly at play, and nobody should sit in judgment. I do think this is more about relationships being cemented, though, in all honesty. And I also think that the marriage card, it might even be the coming together of a work relationship, like a marriage of partners. So I would stay open to that. Then we have the teamwork card, a partnership to complete a goal. Someone will come to your aid, expanding your network, delegating tasks. So it's a week where you can't do everything on your own. So you need to be able to delegate or ask for help. This is the whole thing about having somebody come to our aid. It's always difficult to ask for help, but sometimes that's exactly what we need to do. So just be open to that. I think there are others that are going to play a role in what is going on for you this week. So be open to it. Now, the final 3 cards, we've got karmic justice. Hang on, let me line these up correctly. So we've got karmic justice, secrets, and round. So this comes back to secret knowledge from the snake card early on, right? It's about this information that we are or are not getting. And ultimately, I think this information leads to there being justice. You vindicated, you getting the information that you need. And I feel that this week there may be some of that information coming through. And I always say that knowledge is power. And it can also be just that you're finally getting the rewards for all the hard work that you've done. And this goes back to the birth of new ideas and the cementing of even business relationships. Maybe it's something to do with family, but there are, and it does say wrongs being made right. And I think often that happens, well, that happens in business relationships. It happens in family relationships. And sometimes in friend groups, when people finally realize that the person that was being the squeaky wheel was actually correct in their assessment of somebody and a situation, and it takes them a while to catch up. But then we've got the secrets card, which is moving in silence, hidden factors, lack of communication, not having all the facts. So I still think that even if you're getting information this week, there is more information that will come out. So do not go running right ahead going, right, I got the information, I'm ready to go, and I'm going to dive into this thing head first. There is still more information that is going to come out. So gratefully accept the knowledge that comes in, but sit with it and wait to see if there's more. Also, I think your intuition will tell you if there is more information, and we need to trust that. I understand that a lot of people can be very impatient. I am one of them, and I don't like to wait. I like to just move forward and keep momentum in my life, but there are moments where you need to stop. And this moving in silence part of the secrets card is not everybody needs to know what you are up to. So if there isn't information that you're waiting on, it could be as simple as you are birthing a new idea, you are starting something fresh, and you do not tell anyone. Like, tell obviously the necessary people, and if you need to rely on people and speak to them and ask for help or support or advice, go right ahead. But do not tell the wider world what you are going to do. Before I launched these daily readings, I had been playing with the idea for a while. I was trying to figure out how I would schedule everything so that I can fit all the other things that I need to get done into my life. And I really had to sit with it and figure it out and come up with a formula that would work, that I could deliver what I was saying I was going to deliver and be able to maintain the schedule that I need to achieve everything in my life. I did not tell another soul until about 2 days before I said, I think this is what I'm going to do. And I launched it a couple of days later. And if you look at the very first week of dailies that I released, the formatting is wrong. You can see which ones are the dailies when you go and look at the page because of the formatting. But I figured it out. So this is where it pays to not say anything, because people will get in your head. People will tell you that you can't do it. People will steal ideas. There's a whole raft of reasons why we don't tell people. And sometimes when you tell people, that's when the jealousy and envy does come in, because if people weren't brave enough to do it themselves, they'll tell you that you can't do it. If they couldn't do it, then automatically, why should you be successful? And the reality is we have different paths in this life and we're built differently. If we go back to human design, I'm a manifestor. I am meant to manifest things in this life. Generators, I mean, they can still manifest, but they're built differently. So the way they go about it is different. And it doesn't mean any which way is right or wrong. It doesn't mean that anyone should come out on top over anybody else. It just means that we're on different paths. And if something didn't work for one person, there is a reason for that. They were meant to be somewhere else doing something different. Then we have the round and round card, and this represents cycles in our lives, often toxic cycles that we are repeating, and it's frustrating and it's not where we want to be. However, this is your reminder to, first of all, pay attention to the patterns in your life. There was somebody that I met by a pool in Hawaii one time, and we were having, you know, when you meet those people and it's completely inappropriate to have the discussion you have, and I don't mean that it's rude or X-rated or anything like that. It's just you're being so open and honest, but the reality is you're never going to see this person again. So you can be honest and they're being just as honest and vulnerable back, because for some reason there is this connection and you vibe and you share this moment in time and you're able to talk freely because it's not going to affect your life in any way, shape or form. And then you move away from each other, right? He asked me, what is your pattern in dating? And I said, I don't have a pattern, because I automatically thought about the physical pattern. So there are people that when they're dating, you look at them and go, you like to date blondes, you like to date brunettes. They're a copy and paste, but a slightly different version of each other. If you line them all up, you would go, okay, they all look very similar. And so that's what I was thinking of. And I said, no, I don't have a pattern, because I'm thinking of the physical traits. And then I sat there and thought about it for a minute, and I went, oh, I know my pattern. I date unavailable men. And he went, really? And I said, yeah. And they're not unavailable in the same way. Some of them are unavailable geographically. Some of them are unavailable emotionally. Some of them, you know, there are all these different ways that these men that I had dated were unavailable. And the moment I had that knowledge, I was able to start making different choices. So the thing is, with this card, we repeat the lesson until the lesson is learned. And a couple of things happen. One is that we learn the lesson and we're done with it completely. Sometimes we learn part of the lesson, but then we repeat the same cycle because we need to learn the greater lesson. We haven't learned the whole thing yet. But each time we repeat the cycle, we get a little bit better. We get a little bit smarter. We make better choices, and we are getting closer to no longer repeating those mistakes. And that's the point of this, right? We're here to learn as souls, and we are here to do better. So this is a week where you're either breaking that cycle or you are still stuck in that cycle of repetition, and it's time to recognize if that is happening. And how are you going to break it? How are you going to change what you're doing? And are you learning the lessons that you are meant to be learning? Because that's the only way you're going to break any of those cycles. So the fact that the round and round card came up with the karmic justice and the secrets card, I feel like there's information that's coming out which is related to whatever pattern is playing out in your life. And honestly, if you're one of the people that I was talking about as I was sort of finishing up with this marriage card, my question would be, is that a cycle of yours? Are you attracted to unavailable people? Are you, you know, is there something going on in regard to that? Because if that's the cycle, that's something that you need to look at. Why are you choosing people that can't be present and can't give you those things? Ultimately, I think that it is a great week in terms of, and I'm saying this as I've got two of the three cards I'm pulling from the next deck. I think that it's a great week in terms of our own healing and leveling up ourselves. The fact that, you know, we've got the birth card, the snake card. I always love the snake card because I love transformation. I love growth and stepping into becoming who it is we are meant to be. I think these are incredible things, and because it allows us to transform our lives and keep everything moving and changing in a really great way, because for me, I hate to be stagnant. So I think that's really great. I think there are people around to help you as you're moving along this new path. And I think that I always enjoy when the karmic justice card comes up, because I always like when we're getting vindicated, when information is coming out to prove that we were correct or to get that validation. And it doesn't even matter if the validation doesn't go out to your wider circle or to the whole world. As long as you get that confirmation that you were right, that's all you need, because it confirms that your intuition was right. It confirms that you were correct in the place that you were in, and then you're able to move on. And then this, the secrets in the round and round, move in silence as you're stepping into whatever this new thing is, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a business venture, whether it be a hobby that you're launching. I think that keeping it to yourself until you no longer can is going to serve you well. And just be aware that you may not have all of the information. So do be patient with all of that and take on board whatever information or whatever pattern that you see playing in your life, because I think that that transformation is going to be the biggest transformation of all, because the moment we break those cycles, a whole new world opens up to us. Now, I did just drop one of the cards. Okay, so the next deck that I have pulled out is the Sacred Destiny Oracle, which is Denise Linn. And I mean, I said this when I was shuffling and sort of giving us the roundup of the first spread, was that it was a good week. The first card up is pleasure. The next card out is love. Oh, okay, we're not focusing. And then the final card is abundance. So this is a great week. I think it's a week where you're going to find pleasure in what is what is around you. You're going to see why I'm laughing in a second. I think there's going to be pleasure in what is going on. And I think sometimes there is just great pleasure in shedding the old version of ourselves, because when we do that and we are able to step into the new version, I think we feel more comfortable. We no longer feel restricted the way that we did previously. And if there's birth of a new idea, if there's, you know, a new relationship, or the relationship is really leveling up, I think there is incredible pleasure in that, to feel loved and to feel secure and to feel excited about what is coming next. And again, this karmic justice card, I think there's pleasure in that. And if you are breaking cycles, I mean, that's the ultimate. Then there's the love card. So this goes back to marriage. This goes back to birth. Love of the new things that are coming into our life. Love of the work that we're doing. Love in a literal sense coming in. There is this feeling of love and abundance, you know. So I think that we actually have very full lives. I think that energetically we are being very challenged, and it's incredibly frustrating. And I mean, I said at the beginning of all of this that it has been challenging for me energetically. I've got a million different things going on, and I feel like the astrology really is beating me over the head at the moment. And I've said multiple times, I want to get off this ride. Like, this isn't fun anymore. But the reality is, if we stop and take a breath, we are able to look around and see how much we actually have in our lives. And I've had a whole lot of car trouble recently, and I was at the dealership again because they had fixed an issue, and it was an extended warranty thing. So they fixed that. Then as a result of the work that they did, I had an oil leak. And so I couldn't drive the car. We actually had to get people out to the house in order to get the car to a point where we could drive it. They got it back to the dealership and were then able to fix that. And I was just having a meltdown because, you know what? It wasn't even about the car. It was just the final straw. And the amazing man at the dealership just said to me, he goes, "We're okay. We've got cars, we've got roofs over our heads, we've got food in our stomachs and in our cupboards, and He's exactly right. Our lives are full. And I would say anyone that's watching this, even if you are having a really rough time and even if you're going through it, and I have talked about a story where I was going to an audition. I was in a really tough spot financially, and I saw a homeless man, and he put everything into perspective for me. And I won't tell the whole story because this reading's already getting a little bit long, but I literally went and handed that man every bit of cash that I had on me, which wasn't much. It was a $20 bill. And I wanted him to be okay because I realized, as difficult as things were for me, everything was fine. And even when I was getting myself out of the abusive relationship that I have referenced many, many times, I still had a roof over my head. I still had a car. I was working. I had friends that were feeding me because I had no money. And you know what? My life was still full of abundance. So no matter where you are at this moment, look at what you have versus what you don't have. And then the reason I laughed, so we're finishing up with the magic of the unicorns, Diana Cooper. I had a card jump out, open to abundance. Believe you deserve, accept plenty and prosperity. So if that's not confirmation, I don't know what is. So remember that you are abundant in this life and in this moment. Know that no matter how difficult things are, you are still okay and you still have so very much and so much more than so many other people. And when you sit in that place of gratitude and understand that you have abundance, more will come in. So like I said, this is actually a great week, even if it is challenging energetically. And how exciting that we are stepping into this new version of ourselves. I hope this reading resonated with some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you did like this reading, make sure you like, comment, share, tell me your thoughts, and of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel so that I know that you want these readings to keep coming. And make sure you check out my dailies. I will see you for the next one.